Before I get into this video, by the way, just quick caution, it's not for beginners. So if you haven't done at least 100 plus calls, don't even watch this yet. Just do more calls and then come back to this video. The industry teaches about detachment in such a weird way that it's about detaching from the outcome. Don't be desperate. Just focus on helping the person. Don't think about the money. But it's easier said than done. And these are just really symptoms. They tell you what detachment looks like. They never tell you what it actually is, or where it comes from, or why some people can say the exact same words and it lands completely different. Words carry so less weight compared to your energy, and energy comes from detachment again, because 8% is words, 92% is energy and demeanor. So the same closer can do this exact same thing I did and completely F it up. And the difference is the philosophy behind it. So detachment is really not needing anything from anybody. It's not needing anyone's money, not needing anyone's approval, not needing anyone's understanding, not needing anyone's validation, not needing to feel accepted by a group, not needing to be respected by a complete stranger. Like the first rule is you cannot use the same word in the definition. Like detachment from outcome is still using the word detachment. That's not a definition, that's a loop. And the second rule is detachment doesn't belong in the same sentence as have to. So I want to talk about freedom because there's like financial freedom, right? There's location freedom. But once you achieve financial freedom and location freedom, you understand that there's a bigger level of freedom that you can ever get. And it's basically freedom from feeling like you need to be understood by other people. Freedom from feeling validation from other people. Freedom from needing accolades to be accepted. Like imagine you're free from all of that 100% just for a second. Imagine that type of life where you don't have to feel like you need to achieve anything in your life. And the things that you ever wanted to achieve just comes to you. Like when I get on a call, I legit have no need for this person to understand who I am. That's why I'm chill AF as a cucumber on every single call that I get. Nothing that the prospect says offends me. And on a side note, I see a lot of influencers flexing their Lambo or whatever. And if you put anyone that has more money than you on a pedestal, if someone that has more money than you get on your call, you're not going to perform. Like you want to understand that true detachment comes from conviction, confidence, and detachment. And confidence comes from detachment. Like people say confidence like being cocky and all that. But for me, confidence is a general belief that everything will turn out all right. When you let go of that, you automatically let go of needing the sale or the money. So detachment is really just a byproduct of you letting go of the feeling that you need to feel understood by other people. And that's where you don't feel like you need to perform all the time, because help is such a pure, innocent concept that performing doesn't really come in the same sentence. So if you're 100% confident with who you are, not based on outcomes, not based on data, not based on what you see, then why would you need anything from anyone? Because you're self-sufficient. And I want to explain the have to versus the get to, because a lot of people say, well, June, I have to do more training. I have to close this deal. I have to objection handle. But the thing is, if you're consistently telling yourself have tos, you're confirming the fact that you just don't have it. I would rather have anyone have delusional level of confidence with zero ego. I would rather have someone be like, hey, I have all the tools to be successful, instead of saying, oh, I have to make 20, 50, 100K a month, and confirming the fact that they don't have it unconsciously. And when you come from a place of lack, you'll only attract lack in your life. So change everything from I have to do more training to I get to do more training. I get to help this person. I get to objection handle, because it comes from a place of gratitude. And if you look at the human vibrational chart, if you're constantly operating from guilt and shame, you're in a contracted mode. And when you're contracted, what it feels like is you're looking for that one tree in front of you, but everything is just so dark and you cannot really get it. Now, when you're operating out of peace, joy, gratitude, you're at an expansive state. You're like an eagle, seeing everything from a bird's eye view. Not that one tree, but the forest, the mountain, the lake, everything. And that's where people get more lucky, because if you're looking at that one tree, you're not able to see the opportunities around you that was always there. But if you're in an expansive state, you get to catch it, And that's how people get more luckier. It's like they have more awareness than you to spot out opportunities that was always there. So there's always a difference between having to do something and getting to do something. Having to do comes from a place of lack, guilt, and shame. Getting to do something comes from a place of gratitude. Most of you guys are operating from have to and wondering why you're stressed. And if you're stressed, like your blood goes to your limbs because it's a fight or flight mode for you, and you have to run away from the bear. But when you're in an expansive state, your blood goes to your brain. Therefore, you're able to use more of a capacity in your brain and actually make rational, smart decisions. So let's talk about why detachment makes your words land different. Whoever cannot be bought is the most powerful man on earth. The reason why we buy something is come from a place of lack, desire, and need. If you don't need money, you can't be bought. If you don't need approval, you can't be bought. If you don't need understanding, you can't be bought. Your integrity cannot be tainted. So be a man of integrity. Be a man of wisdom, not man of knowledge. That's why I never demand respect. People just respect me for how I show up because I can't be bought. And honestly, my tonality is very calm, very monotone, very boring. There's no body language really. And if someone like Jerry Minor saw my calls, he'd freak out. But you can't feel the intent behind the fact that I really care about this person. And one thing that I want everyone to know when it comes to closing, scientifically, in order for someone to win an argument, you need at least 3 times stronger belief behind what you say. That's why my boring ass monotone questions land harder than someone's sexy word tracks, because I genuinely freaking believe what I'm saying. You can look at all my sales call recordings before, right? 32K sales, she was 14 minutes late, called her twice, she showed up and she paid. I never said she's late. I just did my job. Because the thing is, she has no reason to show up, and it's her truth, my truth, and truth itself. There's another call, right? The guy just woke up, half asleep, asking about price, and within 3 minutes, he's talking about his childhood. There's nothing sexy about my question. Like, people just fall through and comply because of the philosophy that I hold behind it. So you have to understand what's more important in the call: your ego, your emotions, and being respected, or making money. Every human being has a wound. Everyone puts on a mask to cover it. You're not talking to the person. You're talking to their mask. That's why I have so much empathy with human beings. Even though there are guys that be dicks in my calls, for me, I'm empathetic because it's like, who hurt you? Hurt people want to hurt other people. Hurt people want to show dominance of the call in the most egotistical way. And what drives that ego is their wound, is that they were hurt before. So understand that every human conversation is basically a coping mechanism of someone's wound. Like, there are so many different ways how people cope. There are people that endlessly scroll at home, right? There are people that gym 3 hours a day, taking steroids, obsessing over like vision boards, flexing on social media. When I see a Lambo, it's like, what wound is this guy hiding behind that Lambo? Because why does he want to feel so significant to show a toy that has nothing to do with a value that is made from social perception? For example, being the funny guy all the time. And we see like the biggest comedians themselves because we think they're living happy lives, but the reason why they're being funny is because they're just covering up a wound of feeling insignificant in their childhood. So they're basically afraid of facing reality if he stops. If someone's being an A-type on the call, being like a straight shooter, like the guy's just been vulnerable before and got taken advantage of, or he's been taken advantage of when he was a kid. So he has to hide his wound by showing fake dominance of the call. So everyone goes different. Everyone is wounded. You're not that special. Your insecurities are not that unique. I sell a hypnosis software, and one hypnosis session is $10,000. And I get people doing like $1 million a month. And the first thing they say is, please don't share this call with anyone. Every single individual has insecurities. Like, we're all equal in the end. Society likes to say your value is only tied behind how much you make, what type of toys you have, how many chicks you bang. But if you really put value in things that are attained in this world and not your innate value, then you'll always put someone on a pedestal. And that's not fair for you. And coming back to my point in sales, like, don't focus on the words that people say. Focus on what's behind the words. And you'll naturally build this curiosity once you understand that everything is a coping mechanism. This is how I never get offended or panic or get choked on calls anymore. And at the end of the day, the principle is, I know I'm talking to someone's wound. I'm naturally empathetic because of that perspective. And once you understand wounds and masks, you put on glasses, you could take off, and you literally start decoding human beings in like 60 seconds, knowing that, oh, this is probably their wound, or they're operating out of guilt and shame. For example, you ask the prospect, what are you looking to achieve? And the prospect starts talking about their past achievement. They feel like they lack significance in their current life or in their future, that they have to go back to their past and they have to compensate it. When someone says, I'm fine, I literally call it out, because there's no such thing as I'm fine. It's just a mask. That's why I don't have A-types arguing with me on calls anymore. The thing that A-types hate the most is someone trying to take advantage of them, and they can feel it. And I want to ask a philosophical question. It's like, are all men equal? And just straight up, for me, all men are equal because that's what the Bible says, right? God says everyone equal. So why would I debate against that, right? The most almighty said it. But social media says no, the algorithm says no, society says no, and our values all based on money, profession, status, society, how pretty or how good looking we are. It says that we're not equal. But what does every philosopher or every saint say at the end of the day? What does the Bible say? What does every book of wisdom say? We are all equal. So you either listen to social media or you look into the book of wisdom. It's up to you. Like, everyone shits, everyone brushes their teeth, everyone eats food. How are you different from the guy making $5 million a month? And if you're the type of guy that treats a delivery guy different than a $5 million a month guy, you have no self-respect because you put money on a pedestal, and therefore you're just a guy that can be bought. So I'm not closing more because I make more money. I just don't need anything from anybody. And trust me on this one, I don't care if I lose it all. It's called excess potential. The more you put something on a pedestal, the more it runs away from you. It's money, people, goals, the person that you want to attract, everything. It's the same principle. If a girl or if a guy puts a girl or a guy on a pedestal, how likely he or she is going to get them? The same with money, same with sales, same with everything. And I want to mention Bogdan. He told me a story one day. He's a friend of mine, closer, 80K a month back in the days, also a fighter. He did karate for 20 years and never won a tournament once. In his last fight of his career, he won a bronze medal. First time ever. And he asked himself why, and he came to the conclusion that this time he was just doing it for fun. He had nothing to lose. So what he said was he felt like God was pulling strings from his body. He was at complete flow state because he had nothing to lose. He didn't expect anything. And that's a perspective you want on calls. The more you want that sale, the more you need that money, it's going to run away from you. My perspective that I always have is it's their truth, my truth, and the truth itself. Like if someone doesn't really agree with me, why do I need to feel like I need to validate my point? And here's another perspective that really helps a lot is the 50K thought experiment. Like imagine 3 years ago, you're making 50K a month closing, you got bored and you did something else, try to build passive income. Now you're making 50K a month passive and you go back to sales just for fun and you don't care. When someone gives you an objection, you're not objection handling because you genuinely want to help the person, not because you really need the money. So you're completely detached. It's just a game now. Another perspective that I want to add on is the things that you feel like is so big for you, the money or the sale or whatever leaderboard, is not that big of a deal. I always like to live life from a deathbed perspective. And in my deathbed, are these things so significant enough that I'm going to be talking in my deathbed? Then why put so much passion in it? I'm not saying be demotivated or anything like that. I'm just saying don't take life too seriously at the end of the day. Money, fame, woman, it's not really that serious, you know? So let me talk about how to actually become truly detached, the actual tangible how. So number one is cut off social media immediately. Like this is the biggest single lever anyone can pull in 2026. And literally just a month ago, I was selling a hypnosis offer. So the world's best hypnotist told me that scrolling is the highest form of hypnosis. Because when you're scrolling, you're in a completely relaxed state. And that is what a hypnotic state is. Because your conscious barrier is completely off, and that conscious barrier is basically a filter, but once it's off, you basically intake everything that someone says on social media as it is in your subconscious. So you're looking at someone's wound, mask, ego being projected on you. Think about it. Why do people post on social media 90% of the time? It's ego, it's attention. Literally just one of my students, Max, he 3x his commissions just by cutting off social media. It's the same offer, same skill set, just cut off the noise. No wonder you don't believe all men are equal, and social media tells you every day that you're not equal based on money and value. It's like this whole Andrew Tate asking what color is Bugatti, but what does he sell? He sells a low ticket course based on that guilt and shame that he creates. Number two, it's not about doing more things, but undo the things that don't matter and replace with what actually serves you. So your belief comes from what you see and what you listen to. This comes from the Bible, by the way. There are so many verses that say your faith comes from what you listen to. So listen to the Bible or Carl Jung or Machiavelli or whatever philosopher that resonates with you. I recommend every man to take a stand based on wisdom, not based on knowledge on social media. So cut off bullshit music and reels as well. And one more thing is I truly believe that reading is a lost art. Reading is what made humanity, but it's lost. And reading is one of the best hypnotic activities you can do when it comes to having the right values planted inside you. One book can change your entire life. And it's way better than scrolling. So stop listening to be more disciplined, hustle hard content. That's just triggering comparison and shame. And you're using guilt and shame as motivation to push through. But you can get the same results that you want by being happy, by being grateful, by being content. So you have to understand that what you consume forms your belief. So choose carefully what goes into your unconscious mind. Number three is let go of beliefs that don't serve you. Don't ask, what do I need to do to get 20K a month? It's not about doing. Ask, what belief am I willing to let go that 20K a month becomes a byproduct? The next level doesn't come from holding on to more control. It comes from letting go. So focus on what beliefs and behaviors don't serve you anymore. People say every level has its own devil, but every level consists of what you need to let go to get to that next level. Because it's like, how many times have you set goals and got disappointed? So stop being so focused on 20K, 50K a month. Focus on the beliefs you're willing to let go and get there. And number four is reprogram your internal dialogue. We all have this radio that consistently tells us who we are, what we should do. Our internal dialogue is our belief and it creates our external results because that dictates our decisions and our behaviors. So stop telling yourself I'm a 20K a month guy because your BS detector in your brain, your amygdala, calls bullshit on that every single time. That's why affirmations don't work. Instead, consistently tell yourself I have all the tools within me to be successful. It doesn't trigger the amygdala at all because that's actually true. So your brain accepts it. So be conscious about your internal dialogue, what you consistently tell yourself on a consistent basis, because your internal dialogue creates your external reality. And what you keep telling yourself becomes your reality. So if you keep telling yourself you're too busy, guess what? You'll always be too busy. If you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, you'll never feel good enough. The belief creates the reality and not the other way around. That's why people get in toxic relationships because they've been consistently telling themselves on an unconscious basis that they don't deserve good in their lives. So if something good happens in their life, they reject a good man or a good woman because they find safety in things that confirm that they're not good enough. So they reject good people, good men, good women, and they go back back to the toxic relationship that confirms the fact that they're not good. That's just one good example of your internal dialogue creating your external results. And that's why people stay in toxic relationships, because it confirms the fact that you're not good enough and confirms your safety net of your internal dialogue. So there's one technique. Whenever a limiting belief comes up, give it the name of the most disgusting person you can think of, right? Instead of being repulsed about your results and your actions, be repulsed, be disgusted over the belief that drove those actions and those decisions, those results. Because every time that belief shows up, your response is, that's disgusting to even think that way. And you'll be surprised how disgust can change dramatically the way you behave, the way you make decisions. And if you want to be overly detached from everything that you do, forgive yourself ruthlessly. Because this is one of the biggest qualities that makes God, by the way. Even if the world doesn't forgive you, if you're always forgiving yourself, you'll always be at peace. So stop being so harsh on yourself. True change doesn't come from more discipline and control. If you want to be overly confident, you need to be overly forgiving. It comes from letting go and forgiving your past relationships or your past self-sabotage or your parents, whoever it is that hurt you before. Forgive them. Forgive yourself as well. You don't have to be so harsh on yourself. And you can tell me, hey, June, it's not that easy as you think it is. Well, the funny thing about limitations is the harder you fight for them, the more you get to keep them. And if you believe it can't be that easy, right, you just make yourself feel good about not changing. And number 6 is do the thing you're afraid of. If there's something you're afraid of, that's the thing you need to do. If yours is just an illusion, afraid to be direct in calls, just be direct. Afraid to challenge 8 types, challenge them. Afraid to speak your mind, speak it. Well, June, it's so difficult to do that. It will always be your limitation. The more you fight for your limitation, you get to keep it. Your brain wants safety over change. I get it, but that's just biology. Growth lives outside safety. Number 7 is practice on calls. Your objective is not get a sale. Your objective is have a human conversation where I don't need to feel understood. That's a better frame than chasing close. So the moment you need something from the call, you trigger the amygdala. They can sense desperation, even if your words are perfect. You can't fake this. So if your demeanor is, if you need help, let me help you. If not, that's cool. It's your truth, my truth, and the truth itself. Another perspective that you can have is, let's say you're getting fired last week. You just don't put any effort in the call anymore. You just say whatever you want to say. And then suddenly, you're performing. Because 3.5 years ago, I got fired by one offer and I didn't have an offer for about a month. And this offer, I was like, this is going to be my last shot in high ticket sales anyways, because I'm probably not meant to be good at this shit anymore. So the new offer that I got in, it was just my final shot. I was like, you know what? F it. I'm just going to do whatever F I want to do. I was so detached. I was like, whatever. And I literally had a 60% closing ratio, which I got into number 1 in the first place just that week alone. And I was just a complete newbie in that offer. So the bottom line is detachment is not a technique, it's a philosophy. Like, you not learn this from a script, you learn this from understanding yourself. And it's not about not caring. Don't confuse detachment with being careless. I care about the person's results. I just don't care about being understood or accepted. If they didn't buy, I would never blame them. Again, it's their truth, my truth, and the truth itself. And I know I've done my best. I said everything I want to say, whether it closed or not. So for me, every single call that I get out, I don't feel this feeling, oh, I could have done better. For the last 3 years, I've never felt that. And that's one of the things I coach my students on. Is like, hey, at the end of the day, I won't guarantee you like 3x commissions or anything like that, but I will make sure that every single call that you get out, you're not feeling this remorse of, oh, I could have done better. Every single call, you know you've done everything. You know you said everything. You know you've been truthful the whole entire time. You know you've been attached the whole entire time. That's what I really coach them on. And more sales, more income becomes a byproduct rather. Because I could testify for my students. Well, when I get on the closing call, I just check in and flow. I don't really do it for money. If someone says I want to think about it, I have objection handled not because I need money, but because I genuinely want to help. And somehow I make the sale. I say the things that I want to say, even though it's not a sexy word track, the words just pierce through. So was I always like this? Hell no. Like, I was always salesy, but this is learnable. It's a choice. If you think it's hard, it's always going to be hard. It's really that easy. Just embody it. Just do it.